The draft pages for Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 70 revealed that Granola is indeed going to get his wish to become the strongest in Universe 7, granted by the Cerulean Dragon, but there is a condition, and we do not know what that condition is as of this video. Now, this week, we're going to be getting spoilers as well as the chapter itself, and in that, where we may find out what the condition is, or they may have to, or the writers, Toyotaro and Toriyama, might make us wait till later in the arc, maybe even the end of the arc to find out. It could be like a big, shocking moment, and we may find out much later. But for right now, that does not mean that we cannot speculate and try to figure out what this condition is. So the dragon was able to grant this wish. Granola is the strongest, which to me is just kind of a crazy, but that's not what we're here to talk about. But there's a condition. What is the condition? Please feel free to leave in the comments what you think the condition is after you get done watching our video here. But I'm curious to know your thoughts. But joining me to discuss this here on this video, joining me for the first time on this channel on Geekdom 101, please welcome Symbioid. What's up?
What's up, man? Thank you for having me.
All right, let's talk about it. So he made the wish, bro. He's going to be the strongest. We've got all kinds of theories about what this could be. The one theory I'm seeing pop up over and over again is that the dragon told him that you have a time limit on your power and that you're giving up your life. So he's going to get this ultimate power to get revenge on Frieza, but once he gets the revenge, or shortly after that, he may wither away and die. I'm not so sure if that's what it is, because even though Granola does want revenge, he does not seem like the type that would actually sacrifice his own life just to get revenge on Frieza. But that is one that's been going around in the community. What do you think about that one?
I mean, that would just give him like a window for when, to get the jump on Frieza and the Saiyans. But in my opinion, I don't think it's that either, because then he would just be solely focused on finding them.
Right.
And
And he's
at,
got...
yeah, and in the draft, it shows that it didn't really show that he's like in any hurry because he's barely going to test out that power.
Right, so it's probably not even a time limit, or at least his time limit's not as short as we think it is. It may be like a week or a month or something. So what do you think, what theories do you think make more sense as far as what this mysterious condition is that Granola had to agree upon before he was able to get this incredible power?
Well, recently I ended up reading chapter 69 again, and I realized something in there that I hadn't noticed before, or maybe I skimmed through it. But Monaido, his Gramps, tells him that those specific Dragon Balls, or just Dragon Balls in general, aren't for revenge purposes. And he even tells him, like, when I go, the Dragon Balls will go with me. They'll die, they'll turn into stone.
Right.
And I thought that was interesting because perhaps one of the conditions is that when he finally, gets his objective, when he finally, defeats Frieza and the Saiyans, it's gonna cost him the life of his Gramps and the Dragon Balls. That once, he finally, gets his revenge, that's it, that's done.
That's dark, man, but I like it. Go ahead.
Or another thing is that if he were to use that newfound power for malicious intent, he's gonna lose it right away. That he can't use it for revenge, and
So
he's gonna go against that.
okay, well, that could be the case, but if that's the case, I mean, he wanted to get the power solely to get revenge on Frieza, and presumably his next goal will be to go after Frieza. I mean, that's going to be his next goal based on the character that we've been introduced to thus far. So, is he just going to eventually, like, in his head, does he know, like, okay, I'm going to lose this power anyway, so I might as well break the condition? Or, like, 'cause that seems like something that would stop him from getting revenge. I mean, if you're going to... What would be the point of getting power if your objective is revenge when you can't even get revenge, you know?
No, yeah, you're right. But if he's able to use at least a bit of that power, like a bit of that power, seeing as how strong he can be, maybe all he needs to do is just throw one powerful key blast, and it could defeat Frieza. Like, we don't really know how powerful he really did get, but if he's
Right.
already stronger than Golden Frieza, then all he needs is a simple key blast or an attack of his own, or like use one of the finger lasers just to kill Frieza, and he loses it right away.
Right, but at the same time, if that happens, then wouldn't his Gramps die and you know? So
Yeah,
yeah, so I
he
feel
loses
like
everything.
Yeah. So, but if that's the case, then he already knows what he's doing. He's already accepted the fact that his Gramps is gonna die. So, that's kind of a darker aspect. What other ones do you think make sense to me? Because another one that I was looking at that was kind of interesting is that he has the power, but it's not absolute power. In other words, he's going to get the power, but he's not going to know how to use it. Sort of like when Captain Ginyu took over Goku's body, where he's going to have this incredible power, but he's not really sure how to use it, and it could end up costing him. So even though he has the best power, he might not necessarily be the best tactical fighter, and that's where Goku and Vegeta and maybe even Frieza might defeat him. So that could be the case. But that I feel like is much more of a cop out, if you ask me. I don't know. I mean, I don't hate the idea, but it would depend on how it was executed. You know what I mean?
I mean, personally, for me, I wouldn't want them to go down a resurrection F route. You know, remember when
Seems like
Frieza
it.
got his golden form, and he was so quick to just go to Earth and fight Goku and Vegeta. I want them to actually flesh out Granola with his training and actually learn the power, learn how to use it, how to manifest, how to become stronger with it. Not just be like, all right, I got the power, now I'm gonna go fight them. I feel like that's something that would just make it anticlimactic.
What if the condition is that the dragon said, okay, you can have this power, but you have to kill this person? What if that dragon is not necessarily a good dragon? What if it's not a, I mean, I highly doubt that. I saw that theory popping up online that maybe the dragon's going to say, okay, you can get revenge on Frieza, but you must kill all Saiyans, otherwise you lose that power. Like, I saw somebody say that, and it's like, okay, well, I get that, but I don't get it because dragons are not supposed to be evil, except for the shadow dragons in GT, but like dragons are supposed to be very impartial. They just grant you whatever you want. But also the creator of the serial dragon is not an evil guy, so I just don't know if that's really going to be the case. I understand why somebody would come up with that, but that one to me doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense. What do you think?
It seems to me that Monito created this dragon to have a set of rules, and that's what struck me as very different to all the other dragons that we've seen in Dragon Ball.
They all have
GT.
rules, but these are different rules. They never ask you for
Yeah, these are.
conditions.
It's almost as if this one comes with consequences after every wish. With whatever wish you want, it's gonna come with a consequence or a sacrifice.
Like a monkey's paw. So what else do you
Pretty
think?
much.
What else do you think could be then? What else do you think would be something that makes sense?
I think it would be funny. This is my opinion because I saw this also going around, and I wanted to add to it. It would be kind of funny if, in order for him to be the strongest in the universe, he would have to become a Saiyan. But that would be kind of like the same as Zamasu asking, for Goku's body or to be the strongest as well.
But
If
how's he
is
going to become a
created.
Saiyan though?
To
Like,
me, it would be
uh-huh.
the way I see it. It would be the wishes for him to be the strongest in the universe. Well, the strongest in Universe 7 would be the Saiyans that aren't gods, that exclude, the gods of destruction, the angels. That's what I think, that the only way for him to become the strongest is he has to be of the race that he hates.
Well, that right there makes the most sense because the Saiyans were not strong. It's just that Goku and Vegeta and their offspring happened to be strong, but the Saiyans themselves were all pretty weak. But Goku and Vegeta are special. But the idea of him becoming the race that he hates, I think, is not a bad idea. Or maybe what it could be is maybe the wish is, okay, you have this power, but you cannot use it for evil. In other words, you cannot kill innocent people. So maybe his goal is, okay, I'm going to go kill Frieza. And then when he goes to kill Frieza, who is not innocent, by the way, he's not a good guy. When he runs into Goku and Vegeta, he wants to kill them, but he can't because he promised the dragon he wouldn't. And maybe that could be how they get out of it. You know what I mean? Where he has the power, but he can only use it for benevolent reasons. Like, not so much, he can still use it for revenge, but only revenge against those who wronged him, which would be Frieza, not Goku and Vegeta. Because obviously, Goku and Vegeta are of the Saiyan race, but they were not the ones that made the demand they were not the ones that invaded the cereal planet. That happened many years ago. So, Kakarot's very innocent, and Vegeta was somewhere else, so he does not have anything to do with it. So, he may get angry and then use his power against them, and then boom, he loses his power. Or it reverts what he did, and maybe Frieza comes back to life. That could be the answer right there, bro. So what else do you think could be the answer?
I think. Well, I was seeing a lot of people also say that the ones responsible for his homeworld's destruction was Bardock and his crew.
Right. Possibly, yeah.
And
Seems like it.
and there's that connection with him and Goku. So if they're really trying to make a connection between the two, I could see that being the purpose of Goku and Granola's fight. But I'm expecting not just the condition alone, but Granola's power to be OP as hell. That they're gonna show him like this is what it means to be the strongest in this universe, in this type of power. And I think one other thing is I think it could be that maybe his lifespan is gonna end, or maybe he catched up all the way up to the end of
That's
his lifespan,
that's what I was saying. Yeah,
and
that
that's why his hair grew out.
no, that's what somebody said in the comments actually, and it's not about. I mean, it's a time limit, but it's not the same kind of time limit where his power will not run out, but his lifespan will speed through. So maybe he'll be aging 3 times as fast. He'll be like the reverse Benjamin Button. So maybe like by the time he gets to the Frieza fight, he'll be older. He'll still have that power. He'll be able to beat Frieza, but he can't kill him because he's too old. Like he could literally just decompose right there. Like, that could be sort of and the story could be that, to get the message here. And I like this idea a lot, actually. The message here is that if you want absolute power, you have to earn it. You can't take shortcuts. And Granola might end up dying, an old man or whatever, while having this ultimate power. And then Vegeta and Goku could realize, like, we being the strongest is important, but we have to work for it. We like what they're doing now. We can't just cheat to get there. You know what I mean? And that to me, I think would be a good idea. You know what I mean? So I like the idea of like him getting older and older. And obviously, I'm not saying he's gonna age in like 2 weeks, but it could end up being it could be like that where he has like a week to kill Frieza. And of course, this will be spread out amongst the entire chapters. The entire arc. But a week or a couple months. And by the way, the entire Buu saga took place within the span of 3 days. So just letting everybody know that they have done this before. And the Buu arc was like 3 years in the manga. So they could do it to where just a few days is spread out amongst 2 years for the manga arc. And then it ends like that where he, his body like decomposes or whatever. I mean, I like that idea a lot. Is there any idea you think is better than that one?
I mean, perhaps perhaps the condition is that he could get away with this power, but at the end of the day, everything's gonna revert back to normal. Like everything will come back, like it'll like kind of like back to the past kind of thing.
So
Time will go
you're
backwards and,
saying
like,
that he'll kill Frieza and then it won't even matter?
possibly.
Why would he
That
want to do it though?
Perhaps he just wants to see how far he can get, and then realize, well, if I could get that far with that type of power, maybe I could just work for it, earn it, train myself.
That would
to
be
reach
great.
that.
Because then we could have the arc on repeat. We could have him go and do that, then the time goes back, and then he has to go and earn it, and then he tries again against Frieza. That could actually be a good idea to make the arc go longer.
Yeah, it'd be like a loop.
Yeah, it would be like that. Yeah, well, not really a loop, but it's like a revert, and it's sort of like a loop. Yeah, that would be great. And actually, it reminds me of that episode of X-Men the animated series where Bishop and Cable both went back in time, and they both had to fight Apocalypse, and like it had a cliffhanger in. They had to redo the same episode, but with Cable there, the next part. So they could easily do a thing where they repeat the story, but this time Granola has his own power, and that would be a cool idea actually. It would be interesting to see how they pull it off, but that would be a cool idea. They don't have to repeat the entire chapter, obviously, they would skip through it, but, it gets to the climactic parts. Not a bad idea right there. If anybody else has any ideas in the comments, please let us know. Do you have any other ones before we close out of here?
I just think the theme of this arc is very interesting. They started out with Granola stealing 7-3.
Right.
And, the Heaters, kept them. They want to look for Zuno, to get intel, possibly to steal information. Vegeta, stealing, the Hakai, although he's learning and training
learning it, yeah.
And so, that guy Sushiro wanting to steal Granola's money. So there is a theme here in this arc that it's about, why. I guess in a sense it's not good to steal, and there's going to be consequences coming with that because Granola, in a sense, Granola is just going all out. I saw somebody else say that he's kind of like becoming kind of like the Punisher. He wants to punish, the Saiyans and and whoever else is in his.
It's
whoever
like that.
else is in his way.
Right.
And
Vigilante storyline. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, he wants to be a vigilante for his homeworld, and I get it. But what I find most interesting is that he's not the only one who wants to go after Frieza. It's gonna be him and the Heaters. But if you remember, the Heaters said that they have somebody who's stronger than the three of them, and it's Gas, the one that kind of looks like Majin Buu a little bit. And that one put Granola in check. So it'd be interesting if Granola were to go back and wipe the floor with them
Right.
and put Gas, kind of to show off how powerful he's become. Use Gas as like an example.
Right.
But
And that could happen actually.
yeah, that's but at the end of the day, we could be theorizing all night, and then it's gonna be something completely different because
Right.
Toriyama likes to pull the
Right.
things under the rug.
I
So
mean, it could be that. It could be something to where he'll tell him whatever pain you inflict, you're gonna feel it yourself, and maybe he'll hurt Frieza real bad, and then he'll feel some pain. You know what I mean? Like a double-edged
exactly,
sword.
and it's gonna make him feel like he's gonna feel like he's in Frieza's place, doing what Frieza did to him.
Right. I mean, there could be a lot of things they do here. We'll find out. Remember this video, folks, in case we are right. We might not find out for a year and a half. And I'm not kidding, because they might hold off on this secret, this condition, until the very end of this arc, yo. And I can see them totally doing that to keep people hooked. And it's actually a smart move. I actually think that we're not going to find out till later. But we're doing the video now because we know there's a condition. So I'm sure we'll discuss it more in the future. And then if we are right, you better believe I'm going to go back to this video and point to it, even though a lot of these ideas did come from the comments and the community, not just us. But, guessing something right does not really make it bad or predictable. If it makes sense, it means it's a pretty good story. If it doesn't make sense, then it's kind of a sloppy story. Thank you so much for being here, Symbioid.
Thank you, man.
We'll talk to y'all soon. Leave a comment, let me know, leave a like, and I'll talk to y'all later.